everyone, welcome to another show down of Speedcars Down Under. Tonight we're joined by Paul Charlesworth once again, and our very, very special guest all the way from WA is Leeroy Redmond. Welcome, Leeroy.
G'day boys, how are you? Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, good mate.
Yeah,
Yourself?
you too, Lee. Thanks for coming on the show, mate. You are, in my eyes, an absolute speedway legend from WA. So, yeah, it's going to be a good night actually chatting with you.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. It'll be good fun.
We just need,
good.
It'd be better if we could get Zoom to work, but it just doesn't want to work. We're going to have to keep swapping to Google, I think, Paul, every time.
No, but once I'll get my shit together and, yeah, I'll get it sorted. I'm sorry, Jane, because all this is my shit, so...
It's all good. It's all good, mate. We'll sort her out. It's all good. So, Lee, let's start from the beginning. Like, how did you get involved in Speedway?
Probably to do with my dad. Wayne Redmond, or Chuck as he's known affectionately here, was a commentator at Claremont for years. He used to commentate alongside Con Migro and Brad Thompson and Des Austin, and when the Speedway was obviously quite big, so I used to attend with my dad. I'd go every Friday night with him. I think Dad was a racer too. He raced midgets back in, believe it was 1970, 71 and 72. While I was born in 71. So been told I was at the skids about 6 days after I was born. So, yeah, pretty early. So,
You're a spring chicken.
Yeah, well, I don't feel like it, Paul, let me tell you. Yeah, so my motor racing thing, I've been pretty blessed. I've grown up around guys like John Fenton and Rodney Bennett, and they're all my dad's really good mates. They're all were speedcar people, so I started off in BMX. John Fenton was the guy that brought BMX to WA. And I was doing that from about 5 years of age, and then the progression there was into junior motocross, and Dad bought me one of John's son's bikes. So I think it was an XR80 when I was about probably when I was about 8, but I didn't actually ride it till I was about 10 or 11. I wasn't interested, but BMX was that was in its prime, and that's what I was enjoying doing.
Especially in the 80s, it was.
I was, mate. Yeah, I was a big fan. So, did a lot of that. Raced 2 or 3 times a week. Mum and Dad ended up having their own track in Cudo, and
cool.
so that was kind of cool. And then progressed to motocross, and motocross probably still is my deepest passion. I love it. I still watch it every week. Follow the pro motocross. I follow the Aussie stuff. Went to motocross when I was probably, I think, just 10, maybe 11, and did that right through till I was 19. And funny enough, that's the path that led me to Speedway, which is why I always say the story that way. I finished up with my deal with Kawasaki and decided that I was going to retire from motocross because the injury factor was pretty high. Much to my dad's disgust, because I was at my peak of it, I suppose. I was doing pretty well, but I just had enough of the constant training, and my life was 3 days a week on the bike, and then racing on the weekends, and that was summer or winter. So I wanted to do other things, and while my mates were all going to the pub and having a great time and talking to girls, I was riding. So so it didn't last long, because I got invited down to Claremont by Con Migro to race stock bikes, because they reintroduced stock bikes to Speedway. And I went down there and I did okay. I think the first couple of nights I finished on the box, which was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it too. It was good fun. But pretty much was just going to go back to surfing and just, have some time off. And I had a guy come up out of the crowd, a guy called Colin Thompson, who was a speedway rider back in the day, and he still had a bike. And he said, would you be interested in riding a speedway bike? And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. Not thinking too much of it, to be honest. I just thought, I'll have a go at the practice, and I probably won't like it, and I'll just go back to doing what I was doing. And I rode it at practice, and according to those boys, I got around pretty well and went to the Speedway on the Friday. They said, oh, well, we might as well try and qualify on Friday night. So I went down. In those days, there was two solo encourage races before the actual Speedway meeting start, and there'd be like 30 bikes down there vying for 5
correct.
spots.
I was about to say that because you guys had a big field of bikes in WA.
Yeah, it was lots of bikes. It was pretty. It was very big then, and I actually got through. I won both my heats, and lucky enough for me, it was a butter. It was actually been raining that day, so for me, it was just like riding the motocrosser, except it didn't have any suspension, and it was no brakes, and a lot different. Yeah, a lot different than I'd ever been. So I got through to the main program, and kind of that was the rest was history. I progressed really quickly on it, and I won the under 21 state title in my first full year. I kind of found something that I was meant to do, and bikes. I still now, Paul. I still say I'm a bike guy because the bike career was was the something probably the better thing I was at I suppose. But I loved it. I kept doing that, and then 12 months later, I got a tap on the shoulder at Claremont from a guy called Keith Buster Chapman, and he was the guy that owned Kings Lynn Speedway.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. I was off on a plane in March and racing bikes. So
Now Claremont holds a pretty special place in your heart, doesn't it, Lee?
Yeah, it does, mate. It's the first place I won a state championship. There's a lot of history at Claremont. I love the new speedways that we have here. They're fantastic, but I was kind of lucky to grow up in that era where a bad night at Claremont might have been eight or 9,000.
Yep.
And we did have those big crowds. It had a lot of history. Con Migro, the promoter there, he was a legend. He was just so good at his job. He made it wasn't so much that what he did was he made riders and drivers superstars. He really knew how to promote his product, and I'll forever be in debt to Connor. I'm glad to say I still keep in. I literally messaged him just before we come on. I keep in contact with him. I sent him a couple of weeks ago. He is Mr. Speedway.
He's the guy that we'd love to get on the show because, I mean, even though we do this podcast, we want to try and get everyone on here, but I'm a history guy, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on, sort of in amongst the early stages.
Yeah, mate.
I want to get guys who've got history from back in my time, which is the 80s.
I was I started racing in 1991 was my first year, and like I say, I'm blessed, mate. I rode there till when it closed in 2000. I did my last couple of years in England, and then I retired from bike racing. So very blessed. It was a really cool time to be, racing speedway. The speed cars were huge. Mate, there was 3 divisions of speed cars at Claremont in the 80s and 90s. There was basically C, B and A. A really good mate of mine, Ian Watts, you was telling me, I do remember it for sure, but just how many cars there was in it. And back then, everyone built their own cars.
Yep. Correct. It was different for speed cars because, like you said, everyone was building engines. I mean, I grew up here with Warren Eakins and, with Jeff Fleming. Jeff Fleming had a workshop and those guys were like making their own injection and, just toying with stuff. Like Dean Summers, the guy that I met who gave me a driving-in speed car. Everything was home built, running Sigma motors, Alpha, Rotaries, you name it.
That's right.
And that's the beauty of it.
We had some really big names in speed cars over here over the years.
You guys did. You guys dominated.
Yeah, we there was a period of time when obviously the West Australian drivers dominated that scene for quite some time, and you obviously had guys like Keith Mann and Trevor Mann and Graham Jones and John Fenton and
Correct. And Figlamini.
Neville Lance. Michael.
I was about to say Neville Lance. And what a ferocious rivalry did Neville Lance and Warren Eakins have?
Yeah, it was great. It was
Mate,
great.
those two guys were spectacular. When you put them out on a racetrack together, they race hard, but they race fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's still guys that are still involved now, like Graham Jones and Wayne Cover, and
Yes,
still car owners from that era, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And you spent some time in England. You said, Leeroy. What was that? Just solo stuff, or was that?
Yeah, just bikes, Taz. I could have done a lot more years than I did, but when I went in '93, they changed the sportsman's work permits. So I'd signed to ride for Kings Lynn, and I did a couple of races, but they changed all the work permit rules, so they took the visas off, like Australians and a few other countrymen. I think a few Kiwis got theirs taken. And I was one of them because I didn't have any English patrioticity at all. I was Australian through and through. So if you had like a grandparent or whatever, you kind of qualified.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a spell off, and then I married my first wife, and found and just coincidentally, she was her dad was English, and I could get a spousal visa. So I went back and did some more riding later on, and it was actually cool because my two girls were pretty young, so one of them, my eldest, started school there, and I rode for Kings Lynn and Sheffield. I was actually owned by Hull, which was the guy that got me over there was the very famous Eric Bucock. He really looked after me. He's fantastic. A lot of my friends still to this day, my core bunch of guys that I would call, like, if you're lucky enough to have the five mates on your one hand, funny enough, are all motorbike guys.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, which I'm very blessed, and I still hang around a lot of them that are really close to me. And it's great, mate. They're very supportive when I went to car racing, and it was kind of funny because we used to have this, when I was riding bikes, we used to say when the cars come on, we used to go, oh, car time, it's bar time.
Yeah. I used to say that because when I grew up here in Durham, that was very similar,
Yeah.
I mean, like the Baxters, the David Jacksons, they're guys that I know up here that back in their day, they were running over in England too. And
you talk about Warren Eakins. I'm lucky enough to know Warren, but his nephew Rory Sline.
Yes, Rory.
Rory.
I know them guys well.
My last year in 2001 was Rory's first year at Sheffield.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we actually raced a lot together that year, and he was I think then he was in the junior league. We had like a junior team. Yeah. And then he ended up in our team because the team could see him. He was doing pretty well. And Rory went on to have an outstanding career. I think he rode for 2 years straight. So
I know Lyndon. So a friend of mine used to swing off the side of Lyndon's line. And Lyndon's line, being like a young kid growing up around those guys.
Yeah.
And having the opportunity to go around to Lyndon's house, he was such a cool guy. And he called a spade. And he was such an awesome dude. And mate, he's passionate for speedway, especially for motorbikes and solos for his kids. I watched both Rory back on the junior solos as a little baby, He was always going to be destined for a good future.
Oh, absolutely.
It's blood in their family,
He's a great, their family's fantastic. I've known them for years, and I caught up with them in Darwin. I think it was last year. It was really last year or the year before. At Chariots, and it was so cool to see him. I hadn't seen him for a while.
I did too. Yeah, and you know what? Lyndon hasn't changed a bit, in my opinion. He's still got the big 70s Bond moustache, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's still a character. He's a bloke, mate. He was a legend. I loved him. He was cool.
Yeah. He could ride a bike too, Lyndon. He was very good back in his day. So.
Mate, I can remember when they got that drifter, that bike they got from from I think it was England. And they were super fast, And Dennis Nutch, like Dennis, like when we talk about good solo riders, like, I mean, we've got the Suitors, we've got a lot of guys, you know, but Dennis Nash from WA built his own bikes. That man, like, he was unstoppable.
Yeah, he's amazing, mate. He's actually family to me because his youngest son Russell is married to
Yes.
my sister.
Oh, okay. Right.
So we spend a lot of time with Dennis and Lynn. They're lovely people and
So
great
obviously,
family.
I'm looking at Cody because you had a stellar year last year with Cody in your car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cody's he's such a great guy, and we'd
Yeah.
love to get. Yeah, he is, mate. I've sort of, and once again, is Cody related to Des Nash, the sprint car driver?
No,
No.
no. That's just coincidence. So Cody's dad Lee is one of my best mates.
Yes.
Um, so his dad was Des Nash, the outlaw.
Yes.
And he's from Victoria. That's where he's come from. So whereas Dennis is a WA guy. So
Yes. Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's right. Because once again, like, even though there's a lot of names that connect in Speedway, you still got to be careful because I've been caught out like that thinking, oh, these guys are related.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
they're not.
Yep.
they're
No.
not. Yeah.
How
So,
do you rate young Nashy, mate? You know, as a speed car driver, I've watched him a few times around the Plex. He definitely can wheel.
mate, yeah. So I've obviously known Cody and young Bailey's brother since they were born. And Cody worked for me for a while, washing trucks and stuff when he left school. Cody was actually destined to be an AFL footballer.
Yeah.
He was playing for East Perth here in the Waffle, and decided he didn't want to do it anymore, which much to all of our disgust.
Yeah.
Because we were hoping he'd go on the football path, but and I'm pretty sure his dad was disgusted. But there was probably never going. Well, I didn't think it was ever going to be a time when he would race speedway, and anyway, he came to me one day, and we had the race cars at work at this point in time because I was building a house up in the hills, and so he was around them a lot more. And he came to me one day and he said, "Oh, I'd actually think I'd like to go racing." And I kind of dismissed it at first, and then he kept saying it for a couple of months. So we ended up. He was doing really well at work, and I kind of, instead of giving him I suppose a monetary bonus. So I had a mate that was selling a complete, not complete, nearly complete sprint car roller, minus the wings. So I bought that for him and put it in the shed and put a cover over it. And at the end of the week, I think he sort of half guessed something was going on. But yeah, we bought him a car to start his wingless career, and he did the rest of it. He worked really hard and got a motor and put it all together because we didn't want to just give it to him. Like, he had to earn it, and he did really well in the wingless straight away. And he raced that for probably, I'm going to say, about a season and a half, and then that was about the time, Paul, I had that big crash at the Motorplex and got hurt. And I was probably still concussed because I decided to rebuild the car. And we'd done a lot of damage to that car. I wrecked it. It was about a $55,000 bill. But yeah, I bought another car out of New Zealand and put a car together. And I thought, if I'm not going to race or be able to race, I want to give him a shot. Because I just seen the work, like, he appreciates everything that's done for him.
Yeah.
And I seen the work he was putting in. He was training. He was doing all right things. And I got him over one night and I said, "Hey, mate, what do you reckon about having a drive in this?" And he was blown away. I've never seen a kid so excited. He was beside himself. So, and we seriously, we went down the Motorplex on a Saturday night. It was the last meet of the year from memory.
Yeah.
Or close to. And he's straight away got in it and was brilliant. And I kid you not, with the lap and a half to go, he hit the front from the back.
Yeah.
And Dan Golding got him back, I think it was, just in the last corner. And he finished a really close second. And I was like, what? None of us expected that.
Yeah.
None of us expected that. And I was probably his hardest critic because I thought, he might be okay, But you know, if he finishes in the top 6 or 7, I reckon he's capable of that. I didn't think he was capable of what he just did.
Pulled off, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was pretty
sure. But I
impressive.
mean, but don't get me wrong, you've got good gear too. And once
Oh
again,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and you've got knowledge. So, you know, you're setting a car up. You put a young guy in who can drive anyway. And, you
yeah.
know, you guys produce good results.
Yeah, mate, I think that's part of the plan, and I treated my motorcycling career very much like that, because you know
Yeah,
when you're racing for a living, you tend to make sure you don't miss anything. With the speaker, we all know you can get really hurt in them. They do bite. That's kind of what makes them appealing in my book, because they're a real driver's class, and
yeah,
um, and seeing how Cody adapted to that car so quickly, and it was kind of strange. It's kind of strange in some ways. He started off really well in his first full season, and then
yeah,
he had this patch during the year, like 3 or 4 shows where it really dropped off, and
yeah,
we kind of couldn't understand why, but that he was probably trying to give us some feedback, which to his detriment, his mechanical knowledge isn't really great.
yes,
So we worked harder on understanding what he was feeling, and we finished off the season really well. So,
yeah.
like I
But it
said,
is,
he had so
yeah,
many seconds, it was ridiculous. But
yeah, I
we
know. Yeah, he's had a stellar year.
yeah, we like obviously last year was or last season was his second full season, and I think pretty much every time we hit the track, we put it on the box, and I think there
Yeah,
might have been one DNF when we had an issue with something electrical, and he was outstanding. It was really great to see him finally get his feature win. That was really well deserved. Like we probably we probably lost 3 feature races during the season,
yeah,
through different things. Not, maybe his concentration not being right, leaving the gate open. But in
yeah.
saying that, he's racing. Jonesy bringing an American, and the American would beat him, and
Yeah.
they weren't.
Once again, it's all a learning curve too. When you're new to it,
Yeah,
it is, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah. And especially, in my opinion, too, I mean, as a car owner, you sort of
Mm.
go out, you have a near miss, and you think, especially when you're a bit older, you think, oh shit, I don't want to put her up in the wall.
Yeah,
And then a young guy driving someone, I'm sure someone like him would have it in the back of his mind that, oh, I definitely don't want to be bent in the car.
yeah, and we had conversations during the year where there was one show I think we had to miss because uh, Albany or something, and he was so wanted to race that race, and I just said, mate, look, we got to concentrate on the championship because people remember you for championships. They don't remember
Yes.
you for
Yep.
race wins,
Sure do.
It's funny
and
that, isn't it?
it is, mate, and that's just me putting on my old head.
Yep.
Yeah,
I get it. I've been there. You're young. You're keen. You want it. You want to race as much as you can. But yeah, I remember at the trophy night, and he cleaned up at the trophy night. It was really nice.
yeah,
But he said, I really understand what you mean now, and
yeah,
that's a credit to him. Like I say, he appreciates everything that was ever done for him.
yeah.
Literally
And,
had him here. I had him here a
and,
couple of weeks ago doing the power in our shed, and
yeah.
he still says thanks now. He hasn't driven the car for 6 months, so
And
So,
what
can I ask you another question, Lee?
yeah, mate.
Being, being a solo rider, right? Because there's been a lot of solo riders over the years in speed cars that have jumped from, like the Mark Gilberts, not the, what am I thinking of? Over in WA, Neville Lance,
Never
yourself,
mind. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Neville Lance was no slouch on a solo either. But a lot of you solo guys go to speed cars. What do you think that is?
That's probably not the first time I've been asked that question, but
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's opportunity.
Yeah.
I
Because
personally
you're having
watching,
to adapt to them.
yeah, personally watching. Um, it was years ago. I got asked. Actually, it was the night after I won my estate title, 1996, I think. A guy called John Bryant. I think he moved to Victoria now, but he had a car, a Murphy car, and I drove that the next night. The only thing because the speakers were just such an attraction, like the racing was always so good,
Yeah,
and
and it
that's
was.
and it still is. But I think it's got to do with speedway bike particularly is short wheelbase, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
you feel everything through your ass and your hands.
yes,
Speedway bike, feel everything through your ass and your hands.
Yep.
yeah.
So
Totally
it's
agree.
yeah.
Totally agree.
I kind of said when people said what have you know what's my first love is speedway bikes. That's my first love.
Yep.
Speedcars is a very, very, very close second, like by 1%.
Yeah.
And had I got better results in the speaker, like one of the title or like an Australian title, then I'd go, yeah, maybe that one's better. But car racing wise,
you won an
Yeah.
Australian title as a team owner, didn't you?
sorry, mate.
You won an Australian title as a team owner too, didn't you?
I won an Australian title with Chris Holder.
Yep.
Which I'm very proud of. I've actually still got his bike in my lounge room.
I can say I will tell you, Chris. I've seen him. I think he was Chris Holder was at the Eddinghouse Stadium when they used to have the solos. Yes,
Yeah,
and I
great
watched him
family.
win. Yeah, I
Great
went there.
family. They're really good people.
Yeah.
Really good people. Yeah, we were doing the Australian Speedway Championship. I was doing that as a team owner. Had support from Honda and quite Bellray and quite a few big sponsors. And seen Chris made the A final in probably the hardest year there was. There was one year when we did the title over 5 rounds, and Jason Crump and Lee Adams rode in it.
Yeah,
And I mean, in their prime.
Yeah.
right.
Jason
Yeah,
was world champion. Lee was like second or third that year.
yeah. Well, he's no slouch, Lee Adams, that's for sure.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, and Chris made the A final in the last night, and I was like, geez, that kid's good. And his bike, yeah, he had one bike that he took around to everyone else has got 2 or 3. He had one bike. And I thought, God, I think that guy might be one of the guys I signed for the following year. Man, if you had told me that was the best decision I ever made, like as a team owner. We got all these bikes. It's funny because we were sponsored by Bellray, and he was actually sponsored by Castrol. That was the only argument we had the whole time.
Yeah.
And I had to talk to our main sponsor and said, look, he's got a sponsorship from Castrol, can't have Bellray on that bike, blah blah blah. And that Bellray were fantastic about it.
Yep.
And mate, we did 5 rounds and won 5 rounds.
Yeah.
We won. Yeah. We went from not winning a round at all, and the year before we finished 3rd with Steve Johnson from WA, who's probably one of my oldest mates, and I had Simon Stead, who was one of my teammates from the UK, really flashy rider, I suppose, and young Trevor Harding Jr., who was
Trevor.
Yep. And we've got a 3rd, 5th, and I can't remember where Trevor finished, but and then the next year we go and we do all 5 rounds and we win all 5. Yeah. And then, of course, as you know, the story goes on and young Chris becomes a world champion. So it's kind of nice that you've had some part in that along the way. Yeah.
And how do our riders in Australia rate to the riders from Europe, England?
Oh, I think we have some of the best as, there's a long history of success with Australian Speedway riders. You've only got like Lee Adams, Jason Crump, currently, like obviously Jason Dawes been a champion a few years ago.
Yeah, that's Doherty.
Out of Newcastle, Brady Kurtz is 3 points off the lead right now.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely fantastic. And there's one that the Palms claim that are his, who's a 3-time world champion, but he's born in Australia, and that's Ty Wolfenden.
Yeah. That's exactly right. He's an Australian, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you another guy.
And he can ride a bike quite well, too.
He can ride a bike very well.
I watch a fair bit of the series on Fox, and the Australian boys sure match it with a lot of the boys over there, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, we're very lucky.
Billy Sanders back in the day, I mean, there was lots of Australians that were over there doing all right, but you never heard of a lot of them.
Yeah, we've got guys like Max Frick, who's doing really well. He's in the Grand Prix. There's just a huge list, and we could be talking about it all night. Yeah. The Australian bike speedway, funny enough, in Europe's very strong.
Yes,
but like I say, say back here, not so strong.
No, I've noticed
So
that. Yeah, I have noticed that myself. And
yeah,
you've what you're back in the Speedcar now, of course, like as a team owner or team something to do with the team. What
yeah.
have we
Well,
got? Have we
it's
got
up for
plans?
sale.
Have we got plans for next season, or are we selling the car and getting out of it altogether?
Yeah, mate. Look, it's time to move the car on. We do have a sprint car,
Yep.
Yeah.
and I've chosen to step away from being a midget owner. Look, one problem we have with Speedcar racing, and it's the only problem I believe, because I think the rest of it's very good, is Speedcars have become very expensive to run.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
a car now, to replace a car, you're looking at about $130,000
Yeah,
for
you are.
a
You are.
brand new one.
Yep.
You know, the motors, you know, the Toyotas are 100 plus, the
Well,
SR11s,
SR11s aren't cheap either.
no, they're about 80 grand landed here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky we've got two spike bullets and we've got all the best gear. We've got an
Yeah, I know
SR11.
that.
We can go anywhere in the country and run, but
Yep.
you know we did the maths on it, and it was costing us. The Motorplex is particularly hard on motors,
Yep. Yep.
but I would say it's about the same everywhere else on tyres. It's actually been good on tyres for the last 5 or 6 years. So
Yeah. It's
yes,
hard on engines though, isn't it?
it's
Yeah.
a high speed track. It's, you know, like we say, we all hear about how good it is, but you know, reality is, yes, it's fantastic. It's probably the best promoted speedway, one of the best promoted speedways in the world.
Yep.
Oh,
Um,
beautiful.
and we're very lucky to have it in our backyard. But
Yeah.
as a car owner, it's a bit harder than other tracks on your gear. I've had a change of, I suppose, a change of life, and recently with a divorce and stuff. We ran, that was, you know, a couple of years ago, but you kind of have a reset after that, and you think, well, what are my priorities? And like I was saying to you before, Paul, well, my kids are my priority.
Yep.
Yeah.
My two girls, I've got a girl that lives in Sydney, who's in the fashion industry. She's 28, so I'm still looking after her. I love her to pieces. Chloe, my youngest daughter, has been very successful. She's like a 3 or 4 times Australian dancing champion. She's got her own. Dancing academy now called Vitality in Kenwick, doing
good.
very well. They just won grand champions on the weekend with their dance company, and they've only been open. This is their second year, and they've won it twice, which is great.
You must be the proudest dad in the world.
I am. I'm very proud of my kids, and Lucas, my boy, is he's my world. I have shared custody of him, and we have a week on, week off sort of arrangement, and it works well for both parties. The one great thing with him is he loves his bikes, so
Yes.
so we do a lot of mountain bike, push bike riding.
Yep.
He's just found a love of soccer, so I'm
Yes.
currently a soccer dad, which I'm actually quite enjoying because it's
Yes, I've seen that on Facebook.
yeah. I haven't been around the like a team sport for quite some time. I'm really enjoying that environment. And I can see how much he loves it. So I did say to him, and he looked at me strange. I said, mate, if you want a new pair of football boots, every time you play and a new set of gear, you can have it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
he just looked up at me. He goes, "Why would I want that, Dad?" I said, "Because you have no idea how much that race car cost
I was
me."
about to say, because
Yeah.
you took the motorsport. That's awesome. That's one.
You know what?
That's
One of
one
the things
way
I
to
love
keep him
about
out of stuff.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's funny.
Now, one of the things I love about you, Lee, like in the short amount of time we've got to, well, we never really shook hands, but we've had a lot of conversations and stuff like that because of the Pro Series.
Yeah.
Right? And just being a part of your profile, always look to what you post because it's always to do with Speedway or your kids.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you're an amazing dad. You're an amazing
I appreciate
ambassador.
that. That's lovely to hear that. Thank you.
Good
Yeah,
ambassador.
no,
You're a good ambassador for our sport altogether, really, and a good family man, Mike. Credit to you, Lee.
Thank
for
you,
sure.
guys. I appreciate that. It is important. We all know that. Well, one of the things I've focused on is that this winter, Lucas is 9, so the windows, as we know at that age, is very it goes quickly.
Yep.
Yes, it
And
does.
I want to, and pretty soon our kids are grown up and they're gone and
Yes.
they don't know. So
I know that feeling.
yeah, but yeah, no, he's going great. So yeah, look, all that balance is good, and yeah, looking forward to. We've been working pretty hard. Probably changing the subject a bit. We've been working very hard on Speedcar Week for this year,
Yeah.
and obviously released the dates. And we've
Yes.
got Shane Collins on board, and he's doing a lot more this year.
Yeah.
Fantastic at what he does. We've already got, I think, over 10 expressions of interest within the first couple of weeks, which is great.
Yeah. I think we'll get a few more. But
maybe we'll get a lot more. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We're pushing hard with the whole thing, getting new sponsors in, and
well, trust me, I've been trying up here. I spoke with Andy. I spoke with Travi.
Yeah.
And yourself, because if it wasn't for you three guys, you know, like in Speedcars Australia, we wouldn't have the Pro Series.
That's a great series. Yeah. Great series.
Yeah.
You know, like, and as you know, I mean, I've been on board for the last 3 years.
Yeah, and we appreciate that.
Oh, mate, it's not a problem at all. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, if I can't run my cars, I'll support something else.
Yeah. Well, mate, without what guys like you do, we can't do what we do, right?
Well, once again, it's a combination of a family in it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. The great thing I always said about Speedway in particular, it is a really good family sport.
Oh, mate, especially the Speedcar ranks.
Yeah,
like the Speedcar guys are so awesome. Like when I invited Johnny to go to the Australian titles, like no one had a question. Oh no, you can't come in and film. No. Jamie felt a bit awkward. Yeah. You know, he's like, oh, it's okay. But you know what? That's what Jamie said. That's why he's all down, which is good.
Yeah, it was a great environment, great family environment to be around, and they weren't scared to get in front of the camera and thank their sponsors and thank all the people that's helped them out. And that's without sponsors and without all the people that help all these drivers and all these teams out, it makes it a very hard sport, doesn't it?
It does, mate. It does. And I say we are very blessed in the Speedcar ranks because there's a lot of good support. I know even with what the Joneses do with the series here with the the S-Wing Triple Challenge, like the guys racing for $5,000 to win, like that's fantastic. And that having that in our own states, unreal. You know, having guys like Jonesy who has been around since the 80s and still around,
a long time,
still pouring his time into Speedcar racing, very passionate. I love seeing that. It's quite funny because there was a time when he was a car owner and we were racing against his drivers and we were probably enemies. Because we would be trying to beat whoever he brought in, and sometimes we didn't, and sometimes...
Yeah, but I'm sure you can say that with a lot of the characters in WA. But you know what? One of the things I love about all you guys in WA is they've got such a great nature. Yep. Like, I'm friends with, the Doyles, the Sharps.
Yep.
I love talking to those guys, Rod Bennett, he's a character in himself.
Yeah, he is.
Like, all you guys are a really cool bunch of guys, and...
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the things I love about Speedcars, especially from over your neck of the woods,
Yeah, mate. Yeah, like I say, we're very blessed. We've got a great bunch of drivers that have come through. Obviously, you've got Tommy Payet and Caden Manders. They're just, Daniel Harding's been doing good. He's a sprint car driver. Yeah. We'd like to see those guys continue racing. Dan and Rob Golding, and there's just been a heap of them. And there's guys that have still gone to other divisions that have come from Speedcars like Dane Kingshot that have moved on that been a big part of our club for a long time.
Well, let's talk about Dane Kingshot. Mate, that guy is an exception, isn't he? Like, Dane come up through the ranks, done it hard, but, mate, he's definitely proved that he can drive a car. Midget and a sprint car.
Outstanding. Me and Dane travelled a lot, obviously, over the years with Speedcars, particularly going to when we're doing the Pro Series. We always teamed up to go to the 250 lappers at the end of the year at Parramatta and then at Archerfield, and had a lot of good times. Like Matty Cochran, who's still crewing with him now in the sprint car. We had so much fun because they're boys from Bunbury and They liked the beer back in the day. I will say, yeah, you see Dane these days, he's a very fit young man.
Yeah.
Treats it very seriously. Like,
Oh,
the Cricket Motorsport team has a fairly high profile, and it
I was
needs.
going to say, I met Jeff back in the day because, like, my dad used to pick crew for Ray David up here in
Yeah,
Darwin.
yeah,
So
Sacco, yeah.
I've met the Cricket boys. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen them run a muck out on Ray's property on an Australian sprint car title night. Yeah, I've met Alf Buckello, mate, like, and Jeff Kendricks,
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Murphy. They're all legends, mate. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Some very
like,
big
you
names,
guys,
very big names in our sport this day.
oh, they are.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very big names.
Well,
And not
sorry,
only big
fellas.
names, but
We're gonna
guys,
have to leave it there, Paul. We're running out of time with our Google thing tonight because I haven't paid for this one because I paid for the Zoom one. But we're about to be cut off from our link very shortly. There's a mad rush to try and get this in. Lee, we're gonna have to get you back on, Lee, because I reckon we could talk to you for hours and hours and hours and never stop.
Absolutely, mate. Not a problem at all. It's been great chatting with you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And like I said, we'll get you back on. We'll get this internet sorted out a bit better because we've got a few issues we've got to try and sort out that have only poked up in the last couple of meetings.
no, it's not. Hey, it's my fault.
No, mate, it's all good. It's all good. We'll chat again. I've enjoyed talking to you guys. It's been fantastic.
Thank you very much, mate.
Let's keep plugging Speedcars Australia, and if the guys are watching, please get your nominations in and your expressions of interest in for Pro Speedcar Week.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Come on, guys. Let's make it a big event.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
Good on you guys. Take care.
Thanks for joining us,
Thanks,
everyone.
I'll give you a buzz.
We'll see you all in the next meeting, I suppose. Next week we talk to Aaron Sharp, don't we?
Yes, we do. We talk to Aaron Sharp.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get this internet sorted so we don't have to worry about cutting it off early. But anyway.
Yeah, no, that's once again, that's my fault. I apologise to everyone.
That's not just your fault, mate. Yeah, I should have actually paid for this before we did it tonight, and I didn't even think of it. And now it's just I've got this clock coming up in the corner of the screen saying, "Get off, or we're going to cut you off."
It's good to see you. It's good to fucking have a chat with you. So I shouldn't swear, but I do love you. You're a legend of the sport. And we need to get you back on the show because you've got such an amazing history and you do so much for everyone in the sport. So
we'll catch up again, Lee, for sure.
All right. Thanks, Taz. Thanks, Paul. We'll talk to you soon, boys. Thank you.
We'll do that.
Bye.